up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragon, we are once again heeding the call to adventure as we have the new expansion for the game, The Name of the Wind, based on the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, more specifically on the aforementioned book. Name of the Wind is the first book in the trilogy. Now the game is once again designed by Chris and Johnny O'Neill and published by Brotherwise Games. With that being said, I'm going to let Julie tell you more about this expansion.
I was going to say it's a cooperative, but it's not really a cooperative.
Well, there is the cooperative element. We just haven't played the co-op element.
Oh, okay.
You don't like it, so.
Okay. So it plays 1 to 4 players for ages 13 and above. According to the box, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, but I think it's always taken us.
It lies.
It's always taken us about an hour.
I would say it's definitely 60 minutes. You could probably do 30. I think we've had shorter games with 2 players. I would say 4 players is definitely 60 plus, easily. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it's co-op, solo, and competitive. Now, for those of you that are new to Call to Adventure, maybe you found this because of the subtitle, The Name of the Wind. In Call to Adventure, this is a storytelling competitive game. What you're going to be doing is gaining different cards, walking down the path of the hero, gaining triumph points, or stepping down the path of the anti-hero with tragedy points. At the end of the game, the player with the most points will be the victor. When you're playing co-op, you win and lose as a team as you must defeat an adversary. However, there is once again only one mighty hero or anti-hero. In solo mode, well, kind of speaks for itself. You're building your adventurer and just trying to beat your adversary. Now, Julie, with that being said, is there anything else that we need to add?
No, I think it's just time to grab our drink.
Grab our fellow adventurer or party member.
We're going to take it to the table.
We're going to take it to the table. Now, we've definitely got it to the table once before, but I want to get back into this. I really want to see how this new naming mechanic works.
How different it will be?
Yep, exactly. Now we're going to take a look at the components for Call to Adventure, The Name of the Wind. Now we're going to start with the rule book. So you do get a new rule book. It just explains some of the new mechanics, which we will actually cover during this components overview. Since we're not going to do a full how to play, you'll see what you get: 9 character cards, 53 story cards, as well as 16 hero and anti-hero cards, the naming rules and the naming tokens. I do once again like the layout of the rulebook. It fits with that fantasy theme, and I love the art. Even in just the rulebook, we'll see some good stuff on the cards themselves. We also do get a new story icon. So we've got the pipes right there. The new tokens, wind, fire, and iron. You also have a nice FAQ and a quick explanation. Then, just to make your life a lot simpler, there is a quick reference sheet that is provided with the game as well, and then has the base game rulebook errata, since those of us that got the Kickstarter edition did not receive it. Now, you may be wondering why all the cards are already sleeved. Well, we enjoy Call to Adventure so much, the game is sleeved, so we immediately sleeved the expansion so that everything would match. Now let's talk about the naming mechanic before we take a look at the cards. There are 3 new tokens. There's a token for the name of fire, name of iron, and the name of the wind. Once per turn, if you fail a challenge, you may attempt to name. Now, when you are naming something, you have to get a success of 4, and you can only use your base runes. Now, by acquiring cards that either have the different paths on them, or if you have the specific symbols that you need, for example, for fire, it is Constitution and Wisdom, you get +1 to your attempt. So essentially, if you do not have at least these 2 symbols or a name of fire, you cannot possibly succeed. At the end of the game, you do gain 3 triumph points. Also, you do not draw a card of the result with the hero and anti-hero. Now, you can take a look at the name of iron. Once again, you can see when you attempt to add this +1 to your story, it's the iron path. In this case, it is strength and intelligence. For the wind path, it is dexterity and charisma. Now, we'll take a look at the card. So don't worry, in just a moment, you'll see the symbols, and we'll talk about what advantages this also gives you. So let's take a look at the origins. We do get some new origins: Trader, Trooper, Fae, Warrior. Some of them are just really filling out maybe, the missing expansions, well, not expansions, origins from the base game in this expansion, as well as having some that are themed from the Name of the Wind, like the Fae. So nice additions to your base game. You do get some new motivations. So we've got the Lithani, as well as Lost Soul. Now, you may or may not have one of them. I believe the Lithani is the Kickstarter exclusive card. So as we do have the Kickstarter version, there are, I believe, 3 or 4 cards that aren't included in the standard set. Now, when you take a look at the new Destinies, you can see how they're themed for the Kingkiller Chronicles with Namer. So the more tokens you get, more points you're going to get. Nameless, which is cool as well. And then, of course, what would a Kingkiller Chronicle expansion be without a Kingkiller Destiny? So we've now taken a look at our Origins, Motivations, and Destiny cards. Let's take a look at the Act 1, Act 2, and then Act 3 cards. And then lastly, we'll cover some of the other new cards in the game. So just looking at these cards, you can see they're all really themed for the Name of the Wind. You'll notice that especially if you're familiar with the book, such as the ability to be a musician, save an innocent, gang of urchins. That's fairly standard. You can take a look at your mother and father, and I definitely love the art. I also find that, in particular, the Endure the Elements one in the Waterside Slums is indicative as well of the book. So just to talk about the new elements, you can see that we have the Name of the Wind on there. Now, what's really cool is that if you have acquired the Name of the Wind, you can gain any Wind Path story card for free. You're just able to acquire it. It's very cool. Same goes for the Name of Iron as well as for the Name of Fire. So that's just a quick look at what we have in Act 1. Let's take a look at the Act 2 cards. So we do get some new villains with the Chancellor, definitely Name of the Wind theme. You can see there's the new story icon, Earn the Pipes, at the Aeolian. Now, I haven't actually read the book, been waiting for that 3rd book to come out, so hopefully I'll be getting through them in the near future. You can see Hands Like Knives, Raylar, Rescue a Friend, Untouched by Flames. So there you can see the Name of Fire symbol. Call Fire and Lightning with Hired Killers. Just gives you a nice idea as to the theming, as well as another new adversary, the Lordling. Now let's take a look at the last set of cards, the Act 3 cards. So here we've got Follow the Latantha for the Sword Tree. Definitely something that's specific for Name of the Winds. With Calm the Winds is another option. Prevent a wildfire as you're fighting a rampaging Drakus or slay a Drakus. I find that the further you get into the game, the more the theme for the Name of the Wind comes out with other adversaries like the Chandrian. Join the army, and then specifically with the art, it's the Zealous Emir, or you can defy the Emir. So I said join the army, I meant join the Emir. Invent a schema. So brilliant invention, share your invention. You get some nice points for that. Some other deadly adversaries. Well, just the last one. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. The Setaith. If this is undefeated at the end of the game, any hero who attempted it loses all triumph points. When a hero fails this challenge, do not discard it. Now this is a very hard challenge, especially with what you can do. It does give you a lot of points, a lot of tragedy points, so it may or may not be worth the risk. So there we have it. We've gone through the Act 3 cards. Lastly, we'll take a quick look at our adversary cards. So as you can see, fairly straightforward. New adversaries for the co-op and solo mode. That's what you're getting with these adversary quest cards. Next, we have our hero cards. So we do get some cool stuff, which is different. The Selfless Gift, as well as the Search the Archives. Then Bind with Iron, Call the Wind, and Command the Flame. The neat thing about this is you gain +1 to your attempt to name this turn, or you may automatically succeed when you attempt that specific path. So either a fire, wind, or iron path. Now taking a look at our anti-hero cards, we've got Urgent Journey. Discard and replace all revealed cards in your current act. Oof, that's one that really changed the game up. Play this as another hero attempting a challenge. If they choose either the scroll or the windpipe path, it has +1. Cruel Taunt. Play this as another hero is attempting a challenge. Remove 1 charisma from their attempt. So as you can see, some nasty cards that are joining the game. Some of them have some pretty cool effects as well. And there you have it. We've gone over all of the components for Call to Adventure, The Name of the Wind. Sorry, it got a little messy there in terms of placing everything. But don't worry, Julie and I are going to be coming back at you in just a moment with our review of the game. So Call to Adventure, The Name of the Wind. What did you think of this expansion? I know Call to Adventure is one of those games where I was shocked when you were like, we're going to play competitive and we probably won't play co-op. Almost blew my mind. Like a little steam coming out of my head.
Not steam. I think your head just exploded or turned.
Well, it's still times. Here. Well, maybe it did like The Exorcist. Woo.
So that being said, the expansion to me isn't very different. I know there's a new element to it with the naming component, but we've played 3 times.
Yeah, I think we played 3 times. I played more than that. So.
Okay, I've played 3 times. That's right. You played a version, and you said it did come into play. For the 3 times I've played, it really wasn't a determining factor in the game. For me, it never really came up in the way I was playing to be of any assistance to me whatsoever, or to even have an impact on the game. It didn't help. I mean, you used it a few times. And I think when we played with my parents, you got them to take a couple of, but it didn't make a difference in the outcome of the game, I would say.
No, the first time I played this expansion, I was playing with the Cyberbard, and both he and I were really using the naming mechanic. Well, a lot of stuff came out fairly early. It could have just been the character builds. There's definitely a lot of luck in terms of getting your character set up properly at the start in the game. And both him and I got the Name of Fire early. He got the Name of the Wind early. And that let us get some very powerful cards without taking any risks fairly easily later on in the game. So that was definitely something that I found that was really cool about the game. It also made me play the game a little differently. And I did do that when we were playing together, but I still didn't feel like it came as much into factor. That being said, though, the time we played with your parents, I don't know if it was just bad luck or not, like we almost had no cards with those naming elements that showed up. So the random aspect of the game is really going to affect how much the naming element is going to come into play. That being said, what did you think about the naming aspect of the game? Is that something that you like having, or you could do without it?
I could take or leave it, honestly. Like I said, in the times that I've played it, it hasn't had really an impact. In fact, I feel like it didn't help you at all when you were doing it when we played together.
Well, I had a couple of very awful starts, and
you had 3 really bad games.
I had 3 very bad games. I failed some very easy tosses. Getting 2 blanks on a card on a toss for a very simple 3 pass. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Yeah, things just did not go my way.
He lost the 3 games.
I did. And then playing against the Cyberbard, I came in second. It was very close, but we probably had one of the best stories in terms of storytelling. One of us told his tale as how he rose to become the king. My tale became the king killer. I did have the king killer destiny. So I explained how the king fell to evil and was corrupted, so he needed to be killed. And then the Cyberbard, well, he just kind of did his own thing, as the Cyberbard would do, and absconded with the queen, which I thought was pretty fitting. Also, it was great to do it at a big board game event and having everyone laughing at how all the stories really flowed together. So that was something that was really cool, and it hasn't happened to us in our other plays, so I really did enjoy that aspect.
So, I mean, this is, for me, more Call to Adventure. I do enjoy the game. If you see our other review that we'll have probably popping up at some point, is the card going to show up in front of my face again?
Well, you know what? I don't think it'll be our review. We'll have the playthrough pop up in front of your face. We'll see the review for the end of the video.
The review of the Call to Adventure?
Oh, yeah, the link back to the review, end of the video. People that are familiar with YouTube, you know how this works. If you're not, sorry.
Apparently, I'm not. So that being said, this is more of the same game. It's interesting that we had, there's new cards added in, so I think it just adds more variety to the gameplay.
I like the art in this one too, just because sorry to cut in there. I didn't want to forget. I do feel like the art is a little different.
I see. I didn't notice that at all. I felt like I don't know if it's just because the luck of the draw, but I felt like there was better hero destiny cards than there has been, and I didn't really in my 2 plays have much anti-hero cards, but I found like there was a couple of better ones than when we played before, so it's interesting.
No, yeah, but there's not that many. There's only really 6 new cards, so there's 2 of them. The other ones are all related to naming. I think you just got lucky with in terms of what you pulled. I do feel that the new anti-hero cards are fairly strong. Overall, I think it is a solid addition to the game. It is a little bit of a pain in the butt that you have to remove a lot of the existing...
I forgot that. That's not much fun. It should have a symbol or something on it to make it easier.
There is a symbol on everything.
Oh, I didn't see them, did I?
No, you did not see them. It's easier to look for the name because the name is big. The symbol is very small at the bottom. Okay. So if you're wondering what the symbols are, core game is a book. Name of the Wind is a leaf symbol on the cards. But not the best placement for it. Now, setting up the game is not one thing that I particularly enjoy because you do have to exclude, I say, about 50 to 60 cards from the main game and replace it with all new ones for the Name of the Wind. So you do have to pick if you're going to play the base game or if you're going to play with the Name of the Wind expansion. And I do think that is an element that could have been done a little bit better. I get why they did it because we had some plays where naming was not a factor, and without removing the cards from the base game, there would just be too many cards. Naming would almost never be a factor. So it doesn't make sense. I do like what they do to include the mechanic, but I still think something could have been done a little differently that may have been a lot smoother than what we have in the box. And I think that's pretty much summarizes everything that we have to say about the game.
I don't think I have anything else to add.
So, Call to Adventure, your rating and your final thoughts.
It's still a solid game. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I don't even remember. I'm not good at remembering what I rate games, but this is definitely a strong 7.5 for me.
So I agree. This expansion is definitely 7.5. It's just as strong as Call to Adventure. I do not think that this is an essential that you buy. If you are a fan of Patrick Rothfuss's Kingkiller Chronicles and the book The Name of the Wind, I do think that this is essentially a must buy. I do love the flavor that it adds. It really gets you into that universe. Now, not gonna lie, I haven't read the books. I'm using, secondhand information, playing with the Cyberbard and a few others that do know The Name of the Wind and the Kingkiller Chronicles. They really enjoyed that aspect of this expansion. So now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, and she's going to tell you what time it is.
Well, it's not time, but you can like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have new content for you.
Also, down below in the video description, you will find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You want to see what some of our new videos are coming out? Well, that's where you'll find them. Also, for those of you that are familiar with the channel, you're probably wondering, why is this video released on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday? Well, we've got a lot of expansions and stuff that have been starting to come in.
He's putting me to work.
Not putting you to work.
Putting me to gaming.
Well, we're covering some of these expansions on Tuesday. We will continue with some unboxings. Depending on all the stuff that comes in, you may see actually a few weeks that go out where we have 3 videos go out where we have an expansion review, an unboxing, and another review just because so much stuff has showed up. I wish it wasn't all late. We had a period where we didn't have the most exciting content on the channel. Also, popping up right about now, the aforementioned review to Call to Adventure, as well as to our most recent release besides this one. So, now what time is it, Julie?
Now it's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our fellow party member or rival adventurer.
Or best friend.
I don't know.
I don't know if I can cheers if I'm not your best friend.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
We're going to keep playing games.
We're going to keep playing games. Are you sure you want to be my best friend, though? Because there are cards that let you sacrifice your best friend in this.
Well, then I'll still have my husband.
But you'll be sacrificed, so how will you have anybody?
It's the logic that works in my brain.
Well, Maybe there'll be an undead expansion, then you can come back.
But zombies? No.
No, undead, like skeleton you.
Oh.
Ooh.